Hey guys, I decided I'd be sticking to the animal theme for this week's project, but with a twist of course, and this one is of the mythical kind. A unicorn to be precise, so let's get into it. In a similar vein to the hippo I did previously, I ended up with a monochromatic palette of beige for this one. Why beige? Well, I've never seen a beige unicorn. No one's ever seen a unicorn before, Patricia. But anyway, also a white unicorn would be a struggle to see with my photo background. So browns and beiges it was. Although you can of course imagine it in as many colours as you can. Green, blue, pink, it all works. Also, I do tend to match my projects to the colour of my nails and vice versa, so there might have been some subconscious influence there at work as well. Although I did try to ignore it as best as I could this time. Anyway, besides the yarn, there are some other items I used for this project, but as always I will list all the materials in the description box below. For this project I started off at the legs. I crocheted a circle with the double knit yarn and my smaller hook. After I reached the size I wanted, I then switched to the chenille yarn and crocheted one row very loosely using the smaller hook. I find that if you use the smaller hook, it's much easier to transition to the larger hook after the initial looser round of stitches. Because obviously, the smaller hook will be able to go through the smaller round of stitches rather than trying to force the larger hook through those stitches. So in that vein, I switched to the larger hook and crocheted a few more rounds to make this cute little stumpy leg. I then made a second one and joined the two legs together. I repeated this process with a second set of legs to get 4 in total, which I then joined together. From here on, I continued to crochet around the legs to build up the height on the body. I'm not going to lie here because I was very doubtful about this entire project at this point. I wasn't sure what was going to take shape at all, and my imagination failed me a bit. But I had to trust the process. Trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. Oh gosh. When I reached the height I wanted, I then started to decrease the stitches on the rump side, so that would be the back 2 legs, and left the front side untouched. Decreasing the stitches like this cinches the rump inwards and creates a curve. When I was happy with the rump, I lined up the stitches along the back and slip stitched across the spine, leaving an opening of unworked stitches on the front side for the neck. To make the neck, I crocheted around the opening I left earlier and built up the rounds. I didn't increase or decrease any stitches, I just went straight up and crocheted around 4 rounds or so. This is a chibi stubby little unicorn, so no long neck needed. However, of course you can see the principle for if you were going to do a giraffe. Simply elongate the neck. You know, you do you. After those several rounds of the neck, I was now ready to add the head. To do this, I needed to crochet the snout or mouth area separately, and I started off with an ovalish shape and created a bowl or cup. My words are failing me today, but you see what I mean. I then joined this piece together with the neck. And after a few rounds, I began to decrease that as well and inserted the safety eyes where I thought it would look cute, and finally finished off the head. To add some ears, I crocheted a few rounds to create a small cone shape. I made 2 of these and set them to one side to be sewed on in just a second. I then did the same thing with the horn, making a larger cone shape using the double knit yarn. I would like to quickly make an addendum here because I didn't do it on camera, it completely slipped my mind. However, I did have this gold stringy, I want to say yarn, but it's not really, and it's not a wire either. It's somewhere in between, and I just wrapped that around the horn for that extra unicorn magic. With that completed, I sewed it and the ears onto the head off camera. When the head was complete, I then used the brown double knit yarn to embroider the face details. That of course included the eyelashes, the nostrils, and a big wide smile. Oh, it looks so cute. The mane and tail were mostly crocheted off camera because this was one heck of a mission, but I made the mane and tail using the same method. For the mane, I crocheted along a strip of rows, and for the tail, I crocheted around a circle. So guys, while you watch me finish up the mane and tail, and before we get to the reveal, I'd just like to say thank you for watching, and of course, if you'd like to see more, then please like, share, comment, and even consider subscribing. If you are feeling generous, then also please consider buying me a cup of coffee on Ko-fi. The link to my Ko-fi page will of course be included in the description box below, and any and all donations will be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to hit that bell button to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Anyway, enjoying the beauty shots of this uniquely beige unicorn, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!